Elimination on the line here at the Annexit at the Stockholm Major. We got ourselves Virtus.Pro and PSG.LGD, and we are ready for game number 1. We're ready for the draft. It is time to talk shop here, talk some Dota to us.
Yeah.
Please.
I feel like the way it worked yesterday against LGD, you just spanned out FY heroes, and it worked super well, right? This time around, they're banning out the Magnus. Makes sense, but the Lifestealer and Oracle. So this means that FI will get his Pangolier if he wants to, and there are other heroes open as well.
Look at that, Bulldog. They said that Virtus.Pro's Lone Druid was good enough to ban.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit surprised, because I felt it was kind of underwhelming. A little bit underwhelming. The second game they played with no one middle, he didn't do too much. It was mainly like Ursa, Ramps running around killing everyone. So sure, they respect it anyway.
There it is. There's the Pango.
The FY Pango.
Top tier right there. You know, not just in anybody's hands, but especially in FY's. Scary stuff. Now, we did see a lot of these bear drafts from VP last time. I think they were under contract obligation from their organizer. Hopefully, we don't see that again, because it didn't really work out. But I would predict, bold prediction, we might see an Ursa this game.
Yeah, it's not the great against Pangolier, though, because you can't really lane against him too well. I also know that both of these teams really like Enigma, so we might see that, but picking it first too, you can kind of get countered. It's a little bit scary there.
Yeah, and keep in mind that, by the way, Chalice has also played Pango on the side of PSG.LGD, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them just keeping that hidden and a secret until the very last minute. And there it is, indeed, the Enigma.
Yeah, but generally, I believe, didn't they do an interview too saying that they really value the Pangolier as more of a support, just because it can do the same as an off lane? I mean, it is definitely a flex pick, but...
The Doom.
Ooh, the Doom pickup. All right.
Strong team fight. It feels like you want to pick up Enigma counter now, so you don't ban them out, which I feel like Vengeful is the best one.
Yeah.
And it works really well. It's a position 5 as well. You just get double swaps. You can never go Lincoln, BKB, never works, so... It should be a solid one, if they want to. Other heroes, not sure.
What about the Rubik? You were hype talking that always answer a first pick Enigma with a Rubik before.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but then it's position 5 X Nova. I don't know if he plays that. If it was FY playing it, then absolutely. And they could still do that and just put Pangolier offlane. So it is possible for sure. Also have the Doom that you can steal, which is super good.
Yeah, 2 very high value ultimates right there. But they're gonna think it over there, she is.
I'm thinking where that Pango's gonna go, because I don't know. I feel like we've seen Chalice on it, but I agree with Moxie that they do value it as a 4, so why not just reveal that they're gonna be having a 4 Pango?
Yep.
I guess they still keep it open with the Bane pick up there, so we know what X Nova is gonna play. He's been playing those 5s.
And Bane's an excellent choice against Enigma too. Now he's got so much more that he has to think about. Scarier game for him, but I don't know. Doom cared too much about Bane. I mean, getting Fiend scripts is always bad, but he's got a lot of things in his kit for, you know, health, getting out of those nightmares, helping out.
Yeah, it depends what kind of lane LGD picks in the carry right now, because Bane plus a strong carry and Doom is going to suffer, because he's got 0 armor. He can, depends if you get like a good creep with Doom. He can just change the lane around. But, yeah, the Bane with if he ever gets Etherlands, it's going to be so hard for Enigma to ever get an ult off.
It's all about positioning too, right? Because you want to make sure that you're not in the front. You want that Pangolier to be rolling around, making as much chaos as possible. So Bane's just got to sit back and kind of hold on to that Fiend script for the Enigma. But we saw like yesterday too with VG Gaming, they picked up quite a few heroes that could deal with the Enigma, and you know, it was FY and the Enigma, obviously, but you can still find some really good initiations as long as your positioning is very good. So Virtus.Pro could possibly, you know, just grab the Bane in the black hole. It's not a problem anymore.
Yeah, you just want to tank up. If you don't have that Blink BKB kind of possibility, just go mass tank. It's really good in lane as well. You just annihilate back the wave. So you always have the wave at the tower, get easy farm.
Love Disruptor ban for both these teams. We've seen both of them run them in the past, and yeah, and when it comes to like these mobile heroes where positioning is so important, he just really screws that up. And both teams really need great positionings in these team fights. So good to see him out there as well. No surprise on the puck either. Easy silences, easy initiations there.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Virtus.Pro with banning out that Razor are setting up for an OD pick for themselves. We've seen no one play that very successfully in the last couple of days. And I wouldn't be surprised seeing it coming out right here. What other heroes are there that they could ban out if they do want to go for that OD?
Usually you ban out Pugna is also a hero that's kind of annoying for him. And OD would be really good because it's just a save from Bane as well. Because usually Bane stands like from really far away and gets the ult off and you can't really stop him.
Yeah.
But with OD you just ult or Astral your teammate, right? So it's pretty good there.
Ooh, they end up banning the Bad Rider though. Does that tell us anything?
I mean, it just means that you want not the strongest laner against it. Because Bad just denies so many safe laners. You just lose the lane.
Indeed.
Yeah, because usually, you see something like a Juggernaut picked up or like a Lifesteal. Lifesteal has been banned out because trying to deal with all that sticky napalm. And then, of course, having that lasso for the black hole. You've got two solutions then if PSG.LGD gets it with the Fiend's Grip and lasso. So.
Do you think that they're worried at all that PSG.LGD is still going to go for the Venge? I know that in the past it was Xnova playing it, and we already have him on the Bane. But we have seen also from the Chinese scene that Venge is played very flexible.
Hell yeah.
The Double Doom.
The Double Doom.
Double Doom. It seems like...
Should I say it too? The Double Doom!
There you go. We've seen Grimstroke a lot, not too much recently, because it has not had a lot of success. It's got plenty of nerfs now, so it's not too strong anymore, but the Double Doom is like super powerful. And if the Doom just gets a dagger, you always get that off. It's like you're just going to win the fights. And Doom against LGD, we talked about it yesterday a little bit. You just Doom FY, right? And he's dealt with. He can't do his shenanigans.
Yeah, as we saw the aura reader say, FY, he's happiest and best when he does all the things at the same time. Loads of action making on the map, and we've highlighted him time and time again as the most important player on his team. So if you shut down FY, that's a good first step in shutting down the entirety of PSG.LGD.
Oh yeah, put that leash on him. We've talked so much about Grimstroke. I told you.
No.
I said there'd be
Okay, I thought you said you were going to go for a Virtus.
Well, of
with
course
the
not, Moxie. Too predictable. Now, the Grimstroke, I really like this pick in this game, not only for the Pangolier, but we saw Grimstroke with some nice success yesterday. And the hero can be really good if you're going in for those big space creation early game hit-em-up drafts. So I'm very hyped to see this bad boy. Ursa, though, he complicates stuff a little bit.
It's a really good hero here for the laning stage for sure. Like Doom will struggle here heavily, and you see that VP's lineup right now, they're really like high cooldown, so if they ever use the Doom and something like that, you can just sneak the Roshan with Ursa, right? So you have this fast lineup right now. You can abuse the cooldowns on VP.
Well, there's now also a troll, so you can take Roshan for VP as well. So you can at least contest that, or maybe try to sneak it in before PSG.LGD does.
I want to go back to the Grimstroke pick just for a minute because we talked about the Double Doom, but it's really important that this Grimstroke is able to get off the Soulbind first. And he's going to have to fight his way through a lot of stuff now, which is going to make things pretty difficult in his positioning. He needs to be careful he doesn't get blown up immediately.
Sorry.
I know you're very excited.
No, you're absolutely right, Moxie. Big question on VP's draft is like, who's the guy who's going in first, right? I mean, Enigma, of course, you want him to get that 5-man black hole, but Doom, now he kind of has to wait for Grimstroke to do his ult first before he gets the Doom off. Troll Warlords wait in the back for someone else to get it on first. I mean, they've got a little bit of some who's on first problems on VP, but I am so pumped for Enigma. Let's go. All of this damage coming out here, pushing with that mobility, pushing with that aggression. There's nothing better than that little kid.
All right, so let's talk mid matchup. We got No One versus XM coming out here, and I'm thinking those are going to be the last two picks as well. In the case of No One, we have seen him play Viper a couple times, but it's not really his forte. It's not really his type of hero. But would it fit here, Bulldog? Is that still a hero that's on the table for either team, maybe even?
Yeah, I think it would be fine for sure. Like you have the Troll as a main carry, and you have Doom Enigma who scales like super well, so you can do that. No one likes to play more like carry heroes where he ends up, winning them the game. But in this particular game, it's fine. I'm gonna play against a Pugna, which is, XM has played a lot, right? I think, and it's just a super well-rounded hero. That hero generally doesn't lose any lane, so he should be doing fine there.
Yeah, that's why we see him banned out, I guess, now as well.
Yeah, and it's just super good against Troll as well, late game. Just decrypify the Troll, and you have to go BKB on that hero, and a lot of times you just want to go Sentry Yasha for the movement speed and stage resistance and just go ham and killing everyone. But you just have to go BKB now.
The Ember ban Now waiting for that XM pick. Remember, we saw an ancient operation mid last, so we could have a curveball being thrown into the mix.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Hacks?
Nobody saw nothing.
Is that cheats?
And we also still have the Death Prophet in the pool. Another one that PSG.LGD have picked a lot of.
Yes, I feel like this is right in PSG.LGD's house right here. I mean, huge aggression.
In their
warehouse. With all the boxes. Now, but let's see one of those active mids like you were talking about. I would love to see a Death Prophet on this one.
Oh, well, they have a minute to think about it, and we talked about coaches before the series, and at this time, you know, this is a time where a coach can get everything out that he wants to say, right? This is a time where even if they know what they're gonna pick, he's gonna be able to talk to the team about how they're gonna play it, what they should worry about, what they should look out for, what item build suggestions and all that. So this is important time for the teams.
Yeah. You think it's a mid coming out now? Isn't it Chalice here coming last?
I would imagine that that Chalice is gonna play the Pugna, but it could be an XM Pugna. XM has played Pugna before as well.
Yep,
Super
super fluid
pick sort
draft.
of thing. It keeps your draft very open if you want to change anything up, but probably thinking Pugna gonna go off lane. What would you pick if you were in those shoes?
I'm not sure. They just like their bounty a lot, and I hate it. So hopefully, just don't pick the bounty off lane right now, and we're good. It's a fatty hero. I feel like they need to just create a lot of space. Should be fine.
They have a 50-50 record with Bounty Hunter so far, but against VG Gaming, of course, yesterday 2 losses in a row with the Chalice Bounty Hunter.
They've given up on it. Don't pick it.
Virtus.Pro.
It will be a Spectre.
Spectre?
So that means an off-lane Ursa. Chalice has also played Ursa before. Chalice is very versatile, by the way.
Oh, Spectre.
Spectre? Seen it to mediocre success. Sometimes it just gets overrun.
But at the same time, can be aggressive though, Bulldog.
Well, it can if you have the ultimate, of course. Very aggressive ultimate. But the laning stage feels a lot weaker now. Like Doom shouldn't struggle too much against Spectre. And you're picking this against VP, you know, one of the most known aggressive teams. That's a little scary. It's a little spooky.
This is a scrappy team though coming out from PSG.LGD. Yeah, you have the Haunt, which is on high cooldown, but oh boy.
There's that Ramses Morphling.
Oh Lord, Ramses Morphling.
No, it's no one.
It's no one's Morphling.
No one's Morphling.
More? Oh, okay. No problem then.
There's that no one Morph. No, they won with that as well. The last time we saw no one play Morphus was when Ramses was playing the Brewmaster. They shifted it all around at that point. All right, I am gonna need to know from you guys who you think is gonna take the first game of the series.
I feel like I want to go with VP. You know, they have the Doom, it's strong, and no one Morphling, very powerful. And if you just go the dagger on Doom, I really hope he does, so you can just keep going aggressive with that and Grimstroke, just double Doom someone, and you're just gonna win every fight with that. And yeah, Spectre, I feel it's too slow.
Fair enough, Moxie.
I'm gonna go PSG.LGD because it's it's a scrappy lineup again. Haunt's got a high cooldown, but we've seen what FY can do with that Pangolier, and I feel like as long as they're active, they make space for Ame. It's gonna look pretty good for them.
I think they got enough ways to deal with Spectre on this one. A huge amount of burst, can run at her early game, and more fun, no one. I hope he can make me a believer. So I'll go on that one for VP.
I'm thinking the draft is pretty even, but I will give the edge of the series to Virtus.Pro, and therefore for game number 1, I'll believe in the VP boys. All right, let's find out what's going to happen. But of course, during this game, make sure that you vote for your MVP of the game once the game started, which is right about now. You can start putting those hashtag player names into the chat. So make sure you do that. Here's how you write everything. You know the drill. All right, it is time. Game number 1 is upon us, and who better to commentate it than OD Pixel and Fogged.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Stockholm. Virtus.Pro up against LGD. What a best-of-3 series to start today off with. And Fogged, we're seeing a lot of great stuff from both sides. We've got a lot of Grimstroke combos coming out on one half, and then bam, this last final pick of the Spectre, as we see LGD trying to at least have this late-game carry that they can try and draw the game out with. But at the same time, VP, they respond with the Morphling.
Yeah, I was imagining that they would pick some type of late game, this PA, the Spectre, someone who's just like ultra, we're going to win in the late game because they have Space Makers. They have Ursa, they have Pugna. These are early game heroes that want to put the pressure on. The Pugna gives them that tower push too, so they can rally around that while Ame just gets that farm going for them. But yeah, VP, they also have that. I think that's why we saw LGD, they banned out the Ember Spirit as that last one, because you look at their disables, it can be a bit limited. It's really relying on the Bane setting up, and then once Pango has ultis, that's their only real stuns between the two of them. So this Morphling could definitely have the opportunity to go ham if he doesn't get kind of run over here. So we're looking here at Pasha's items. This has become kind of a tradition, a staple now. When you have Enigma, we see that Ring of Regen being given so that he can have a better time in that laning phase. And he should have a good time too, like the panel was saying. He's versus Spectre. He's going to have Enigma denying the lane back for him, and he's going to be able to get a lot on this Doom, which I think is exactly what VP needs to have the success to be able to just get those double Dooms off constantly, like Bulldog was talking about.
And considering that's how the top lane is going to go, looking at the bottom lane, is that going to be there for a lane where you could see LGD doing a very good job of pressuring the Troll, or do you think this Trolls are going to be just okay farming against these two?
I think he might struggle a little bit, but I've said that a couple of times about these Trolls, and they end up just having fine. Like, they just have free farm because this hero is just so strong in the laning phase. He's like the Troll and your Razor, they seem to just not really lose lanes that they're in anymore. So we have other combo that we got to see at the minor. We were mentioning it, of course, before the game started, is we see the Bane plus the Pango. So the combo that we got to see, at least at the minor, was the Enfeeble plus Lucky Shot. So Enfeeble, your status resistance, of course, gets affected, and the Lucky Shot lasts an eternity, which it already does. Just makes it that much stronger on top of the combo.
See VP have a bit of a poke at PSG.LGD at this bottom rune, be unable to push them away before the rune's picked up.
Yep.
As that will actually be, by the looks of it, 3 runes to start the game off with for PSG.LGD. Able to take hold of the top one as well, as it looks like VP just weren't able to make the invasion themselves. With FY standing guard and FY, of course, his Pangolier, we can expect some incredible stuff from him. We've seen it earlier this tournament, and he just takes over the game. You can see FY transitioning into being another 3. So, for instance, you know, you say with VP, with this lane setup, you know that Roger and Pasha, they're both going to have a really good time in terms of finding creeps, finding areas of the jungle to farm. FY, he's going to find action on the map to keep him on the same level.
Yeah. He's going to try to get rid of these Eidolons. Every time he has a swashbuckle up, we saw him walking deep aggressively. He places the ward to, I believe, block that hard camp, just to make sure that the Enigma can't back up and always farm it.
Yeah, and this mid lane matchup, Noah Morph up against the XM Pugna. This sort of hero versus hero, is it expected to go one way or another? We've seen Noah on mid on the Morph earlier this tournament. Again, he played the lane very well. Is it going to be tricky against the Pugna, or should he be fine?
He's just going to have to ferry out a lot of regen. That's the thing. You might see him be relatively even. He might fall behind a tiny bit in the last hits, but the thing is that Pugna can threaten kills and force so much extra regen in comparison, so he'll be spending more money on that. So the net worth should lead the Pugna for the majority, even if the CS says otherwise.
And sort of FY as the Pango, do you think we could look to see him trying to sneak in a gank in mid? Obviously, it's going to depend on RNG. He's going to sort of hope for lucky shot procs to have a chance of setting up for XM to get the damage down. But there is the chance that could happen, right?
I think later he'll do. I don't think the first 5 minutes is really going to be
It's just not worth it.
He has to secure Spectre. Like, otherwise, Spectre's alone versus a Doom and Enigma, and he's just going to get bullied. And they need that hero to get farmed. They need Ame to have a good time up here, especially in the start, because then they can move. Once he has his levels, then you just get the hell out of there, and then Spectre plays his own game while everybody else runs around and makes plays.
Down bottom on the first few waves, the farm looking to be pretty even between Ramses and Chalice. 9 for 2 against the 7 for 0. And mid lane, yeah, continues to be an even trade on these early levels between the Morph and the Pugna.
So he actually didn't block the hard camp. I thought that one actually was. It's just to watch whenever the Enigma does back up for those Eidolons, and maybe see if whenever he does get maybe low or those Eidolons get low, and he can come in and snatch it with the swashbuckle. So he's just keeping tabs on Roger, but Roger also placed a high ground ward to be able to watch him. So we're seeing this bottom lane. They're not really slowing down Ramses, as kind of expecting. You know, the Troll thought they might be able to, but Troll is just that hero that always ends up having a good time. The lane's playing out as expected. In mid, you see last hits, relatively even, but you see no one. He's ferrying out regen constantly to make sure that he can deal with that pressure.
And FY, with that mobility, he can sort of sit this area of the map. As long as he feels like Ame's still getting something out of the lane, being left alone against Pasha's Doom, he can just keep tabs and eyes on Roger's Enigma, making sure that Roger just doesn't get that free farm, just isn't able to just sit there and AFK in the neutral camps.
Yep. XM just constantly threatening no one under the tower there. So yeah, last hits, as we were saying, same for the Morphling versus the Pugna, but if you look at the net worth, actually, he's starting to lose a little bit of it there, just having to bring that regen. Roger will be able to jungle here, but the pull is open for LGD, so now finally FY will be able to jungle a little bit there and get himself some farming levels on that Pango.
So with Chalice's Ursa, obviously the plan I imagine going to be you're looking to this hero to make space, make time, and for the Spectre to farm up. Is it a very easy game though for the Ursa to look for people to jump on? Because I feel like VP, they've got a lot of responses if this Ursa starts to get in the face of some of these heroes. I
think he's just their frontliner. He's kind of like their distraction. It's like he doesn't want them to go on the Pugna, so he's just gonna make space for his teammates and just run in. And I feel like it's just like what Bulldog was talking about. This Ursa pick is pretty much, you guys have Enigma Doom. If you use these cooldowns, we're getting Brosh. You will not be able to contest it easily at all. So that fast pace for LGD to be able to set as we see the power rune coming out. It's an invis actually bottom, so we'll be able to be claimed by the Grimstroke.
Fly again, just trying to use the swashbuckles. Not enough damage to kill off the Eidolon straight up. We have to find one of them, and he's just going to stand there and beat down the Eidolon's Roger. We'll deny the second one away from him. Solo with that invis rune. We'll see if he can catch out any of the two of them down bottom. X-Nova's a little low as Ramses is trying to bait him forward. We'll see Solo get the chase down. The stun is going to connect him with the slow from the Axis. That'll be first blood. The invis rune doing the work there for VP, catching X-Nova off guard as he was not ready for that one. Hanging around on too low HP, did not expect Solo to be there in the shadows.
And we had, like, if we look at these last hits and everything, the lanes are actually dead even across the board. If anything, Enigma maybe has a little bit of extra those denies, giving a more experience advantage to the side of VP. But yeah, great invis rune, perfect usage there by Solo. So bounty runes coming out. We see 3 heroes from LGD going bottom to secure that one. As Pasha, he's got the Centaur Stomp, saves it. He's able to get the bounty rune anyway without it.
He's able to stun them and walk off. Without any too many issues. FY got him with another swashbuckle, but alone. Of course, not nearly enough damage to deal with Pasha as he walks around.
3
Tango
procs.
popping, 15.8 HP regen.
Yeah.
And VP, I mean, 5 minutes in, having this very slight lead of a 1k advantage, it's got to feel good, right? Because you are running this Doom and Enigma. It's slightly greedy, but you're staying ahead. You're getting the farm. It's 5.5 minutes in. PSG.LGD is still yet to get a kill, so they're not really be able to punish the fact that VP are running sort of these almost certainly sort of 2 position 3 heroes that they're going to turn out to be at this sort of start.
And even like the Morphling is a bit of a greedy hero too. He's in the mid lane, so it makes it less greedy because of that. Him able to get all those lessons. No one's doing great in this matchup. He's actually pulling ahead now, and because of the way you always work with your morph, he's actually not having to spend that much gold on regen. I thought it would be a little bit more, but yeah, morphs down to like 1 HP and then uses like a tango and he's back up. Always sitting at those 10 stick charges, and now we also see, I believe that was also the pooling onto the Doom. So now he has the Ring of Regen and the Ring of Health on top from his Enigma buddy. So much extra regen for this man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really beat him out of lane, even with FY being there as well. Swashbuckle's not going to do enough at all at this point of the game, so Pasha can just sit there in the lane, be this sort of constant pressure on towards that top tier tower, shoving the lane in each and every time. That means that PSG.LGD's, their supports like FY, they can no longer really afford to go over and try and disrupt Roger inside of the jungle. They've got bigger issues in the lanes now.
Yeah. It's so interesting that we've gone back. I want to say gone back to, but this used to be actually a Dota 1 thing, that people would share, I was going to say Sobi's mask, it's called Sage's mask now, but people used to share Sage's mask in laning phase, share Ring of Health, share Ring of Regens. We've gone like full circle.
XM, of course, able to do what a Pugna does, is getting that early pressure onto the tower, shoving the wave in, has already managed to take down that tier 1 to half HP, and in fact, bottom lane, Ramses, again, getting the kill on Chalice. We'll see FY try and go in on the mid lane, but no one is able to turn into the Pugna, trying to trade back. The life trade is just not doing enough to kill no one at all, as he's able to back off. Toast gets silenced, though, in the wrong form, but whoa! Silence ends just in time. No one will be able to change back, as he does not die to the 3-man attempt there from PSG.LGD.
It's so scary how that RNG can play a big factor there. If he does get the initial swashbuckle silence, that might just be an instant kill on the Morphling. They're guaranteeing this tower, though, for the side of LGD. They're bringing FY from the backlines again. Gonna give some pokes to no one. But VP, they're doing very well on their other lanes. It's a 2k gold advantage. Even though this tower goes down, now it's a 1k. But now this Pugna, XM, he needs to make the moves down. Probably head down bottom immediately, put the pressure onto the Troll Warlord so that he can't actually just, bully out the Ursa as he has been, and take that tier 1.
Yeah, they have to somehow shut down the map from VP, because VP are just getting so much out of this early game.
They really are. This Doom is... this Doom getting full free farm in this game is such a big problem for the side of LGD, because he's just going to be able to train, run in, and he will pretty much guarantee get those Dooms or double Dooms off, which will change everything.
And up top, these early sort of pushes Yeah, Ame and X-Nova, what can they do to keep these creeps away? FY is there with the wraparound, but it's so hard to really go in on this Doom with the ult ready to pop. You have to be careful how you approach Pasha, as they'll have no trouble trying to turn with those two heroes.
Yep.
Pasha, again, goes in. X-Nova will reveal himself. They drop a dagger out. They do get the swashbuckle disarm. The Scorched Earth is out, and Pasha, he's in no trouble whatsoever.
Like we mentioned, I mean, LGD, they have no stuns. They have like no real lockdown until they get those level 6s online for the Pango and the Bane. It's very limited catch for them, especially because Chalice has also been having some trouble down bottom. He's actually has even net worth as the Doom, which is pretty impressive, but he can't actually put pressure onto Ramses' troll at all.
Not at all, especially with Ramses doing something that we don't always see. You know, rather than saving up for the Demon Edge, he'll get the Void Stone first, so he has that mana regen, so he can continue to just spam the axes and make sure that Chalice has trouble farming against him at range.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool approach. And we've actually seen the Battle Fury troll struggle quite a bit here, but he's in this game, he's probably like, I'm playing versus Spectre, we're doing good in the early laning phase, I want to be able to scale. So in this one, it does look like that Battle Fury will be okay, because we've seen people blow Battle Fury and the game ends before they get the second knife. We saw it happen yesterday.
Roger, he knows he can TP out. I mean, as you say, there's a lack of lockdown. The only thing would have been a Nightmare, and that's not skilled yet, of course. So nothing that stops that sort of move from VP. They can just slide around the lanes with the TPs. PSG.LGD is going to struggle to pressure that sort of play.
It's just going to be a bit of a passive game coming out for PSG.LGD. It's pretty much just going to be the Pugna running around until they've got FY6, which they're giving him the mid lane. He's 5, and they do have the Tome available. He's already queued it up immediately.
We'll see the contest for the 10-minute runes. As FY actually getting clapped here by the Hellbent Smasher. Solo's going to be in with the silence, and FY tried to head down for the runes. Going to pay with his life. VP quick to react. As a third kill is picked up, and at 10 minutes, this 3k lead, it's looking very scary for PSG.LGD's lineup. They went greedy with the Spectre. VP, though, they almost went even more greedy, but they're getting away with it. They're ahead at this point of the game, and they're taking towers. Yeah,
and no one, the thing is, a Morphling is you have so many opportunities to just turn into other heroes. Here we saw him going into the Pango, but he can turn into Pugna a lot of times, and then he just has the double blast always. Or the blast to be able to go for the towers, that is.
Lots of sort of cute plays he can perform as well, especially having the Grimstroke. You know, you look at sort of the fact that down the line he's going to have that double nuke from the double adaptive strike. He can set that up with a double Decrepify on top of the Soulbind if he's able to take over the Pugna.
Yeah. And even just, I mean, Nether Ward too inside of team fights. If he turns into this Pugna, then there's a lot of different opportunities for him to set up his team to have an even better team fight that they already have. I mean, their team fight's already great with the Doom Enigma if they're able to get them all. Yeah, all 3 cores leading that net worth. It's 4k advantage already at 11 minutes on. Experience is also pretty much exactly the same too. 4k experience advantage at 11 minutes is very high.
I mean, I think, well, if you're PSG.LGD, sure, you're running a Spectre. You imagine on the top lane, you might not have sort of a smooth sailing from the start, but I can't imagine that they expected the other 2 lanes to sort of end with them being behind as they are.
Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, Ame's gone for Soul Ring on Spectre. So he's looking at their lineup and who's their D-push really to set up. It's like if they have the Pango set up for Swashbuckles for D-push, sure. Pugna doesn't really want to be there, so he's using Dagger the best he can.
But we'll see FY get a very nice angle on the mid onto Roger, and that will set up for the kill. FY getting the easy roll in with the Thunder as Roger is caught out. There's not really a lot of saving potential from VP's heroes.
It is 2 ults though. That is the Spectre ult as well as that Pango ult. So right now, I mean, VP's probably like, okay, we can go to pressure some towers here.
And all whilst this is happening, Ramses, he's just about got the money for the Demon Edge. This Battle Fury is going to be pre-15 minutes at this rate. It's going to be a very, very speedy timing. As Doom will be back and available again in 10 seconds.
Yep, they've got Doom ult, they've got Enigma ult. We see Rogers already coming up here to try to pressure the tower again, because like we were mentioning, the D-push on LGD is pretty limited, so here they are pressuring 2 lanes here while Ramses just goes for that free farm in the jungle. Ramses is spotted though, so they do know the troll is... I mean, they know he's really not going to show up the fights anyway because of the item build that he's queued up.
So they got the ping did come out immediately there.
Yeah, they saw it.
So unlikely that you'll see PSG.LGD get caught out by this move, as you can see, getting straight underneath the tier 2 tower. PSG.LGD, Ame and FY will be safe for now.
As soon as
tower will not be though. The push just continuing. Pasha just getting all this space. Phase drums and a tower on top of it. They do get the trade down bottom. XM is able to find the bottom tier 1 away from VP.
VP's doing a good job of just keep that pressure on. You're playing versus Spectre. This is exactly how you want to be playing. You have 1 hero free farming, the other 4 pressuring on the map. CLGD, they put a couple defensive wards here to try to protect Ame, but Yeah, he's literally just using Spectral Dagger and Soul Ring to get some farm right now because he's just scared to walk up to creep waves whenever the Morphling does show up. Definitely concerning. How's Chalice doing? He's almost got the Blink Dagger, so that's probably the big thing that LGD is waiting for, is when they have Blink, they can really make moves. But right now,
they're going to try for top. They've got the Nightmare set up. Buy time for Chalice to come in. XM's there as well. They'll surround Pasha. Pasha goes for the TP out. He's going to make it away. They've got nothing to hold him back. And the Decrep, did he mean to use Decrep? I mean, I guess he meant to use it. He did, but it meant that they couldn't keep hitting him.
Yeah.
That's
bit of anti-synergy.
Oh, I've done that. You can't do that. Your team's going to get pretty mad at you.
They've got X-Nova now with level 6, finally, so now they have an actual disable that works properly besides Rolling Thunder. Because, yeah, like we said, I mean, if we're recognizing it, VP's like, yeah, they've got no stuns. You know, we're fine whenever we want to make plays. And even Solo is now getting some farm. I mean, they're looking very comfortable right now with that 5K gold lead.
They're, yeah, very, very comfortable. I mean, to the point where, I mean, if you're PSG.LGD, what is your best way of getting back in? Well, you just have to make plays around the Ursa. You've just lost FY, though. No one getting free pickoffs on his own.
I think you have to make moves with Ursa and Pugna. You have to start just running around the map with these two heroes, and especially when you have Pango ult, you can't actually show yourself in lane. You have to pretty much go for fighting to make space for your Spectre in particular. Yeah, because Ame's just not getting as much as he'd like to. His VP, they're just looking to keep the pressure, and they've got the Battle Fury finished already on top of Treads, double Wraith Band. He's so farmed.
The item timings on pretty much all of the cores of VP are ridiculous. The fact that they're getting away with this at 15 minutes in, it's looking perfect to begin the game. They'll look towards mid. They will get Ramses here, as Ramses not wanting to use the ult, as it seemed there wasn't any help there anyway, so would have almost certainly died nonetheless. VP, though, will be able to claim 3 of the 4 bounty runes, but still getting the kill on the Troll. That's something that PSG.LGD have been looking for a while and hadn't been sort of able to do so because he's been sticking to the jungle. Shows in lane. PSG.LGD are quick to punish.
That's actually like the first time that he showed. He gets picked off as Solo.
Another pick off.
Also will be.
Chalice able to find Grimstroke walking straight into his claws. Chalice going for the Blink Dagger straight into Basher. He knows they've got to have better ways of holding down these heroes.
He's got to be, like we were talking about, he's got to be the one that just starts everything for his team right now. Pugna, sure, you can set up the push towers, but you need somebody to just go in and start everything so that FY can set up for his ulti. You have to pretty much like distract to make sure that this Grimstroke can't get this bind. Because if he gets the soul bind and it attaches to the Pango is screwed.
Such an advantageous lead here for VP. 6K advantage. Troll, Ramses, other than dying in that mid lane, he's getting away with the free farm. As already the outlook looking very good for Virtus.Pro here in this game 1.
They don't want to slow down, though. That's the one thing, is you're still playing versus a Spectre, whose farm is not amazing, but not bad either. You see Ame, even though he went for this Tread Soul Ring build, he's at 2,700 toward that Radiance. So it's still always going to be that kind of looming threat versus Spectre.
Mad White has got the Javelin. Of course, we'll be looking to go back, get those Arcanes, Greaves, Maelstroms for the team.
They're playing it pretty defensive. They're actually just playing like the let VP make the mistakes, not us. They have their lanes all pushing in, so Ame's fine with this. He's going to be able to farm under the tower safely, and then they're playing with like 3 heroes kind of near him to make sure that they can't make a play on him.
We'll certainly see VP try to force some sort of play out of them as 4 of them starting to gather around the mid lane. Backing up no one as he pushes in. You have Pasha with a completed hood, so this Doom pretty much is just not a target you can look towards as PSG.LGD at this moment.
No, definitely not.
He's got a full pipe now, sorry.
Yeah. They look how many sentries they've placed down, so they want to take out all the vision that LGD has and then try to make aggressive plays. Just don't slow down, as they look like they will be able to find X-Nova. Solo has another stroke up.
I mean, do they want to dive this? They don't even need to. From range there with the strike and the stroke. They get the pick off. Space continues to be there for Ramses, and Ame, he's just having to spend the entirety of his life just hidden in the trees, throwing out daggers.
Look how they're just ignoring the Pugna. XM just took a bottom tower for free, and VP's like, whatever. We have other priorities. Pugna's not the issue this game, is probably what they're telling themselves.
And down the mid they go. They've got the push with the Eidolons. Next up for Pasha will be that Halberd, so he's going to have the answer for Chalice. He's going to be quite a while away from it. And with the bottom lane now finally hitting up to the high ground, there'll be a reaction. Ramses comes in to try and clear the wave out. Grab Fire and the Drain does bring Ramses down pretty low. But he's on the high ground, and it is only XM down here. XM, well, he does have that haste rune, so Ramses will have to back up and heal up in the fountain.
He's putting a lot of pressure on the tower. He has a Dagon finished up at base, at least on the Pugna too, if he wants to commit for it. So, I mean, they do have to watch out. Ramses has to be careful because he's going the greed, full greed. He's going Battle Fury, he's going SNY, just delaying that BKB as long as possible because it's like, you know, he's not really blocking much besides that Pugna and that Pangolier.
Unfortunately, FX over gets a ward down, but Sentry was already there in the area, so Solo with a quick D ward.
That's like their third or fourth or maybe even more D wards as we see LGD very limited map vision at the moment.
Yeah,
that bottom one.
So the Sentry placement from VP is just prepared for all of PSG.LGD's common ward spots.
Yep.
As Ramses gets the setup there from his teammates to get another bit of a bonus to add to that incredible amount of money that he's amounting to with the farm. Still sitting at the top has this troll.
It's them dictating the pace, and LGD, they're just playing the farm game. They're not losing Ame, which is the most important thing, and he's pretty much has the Radiance finished.
Okay.
He's like 600 away, so.
Yeah, they're going to have the Radiance and the Bastion on Chalice very soon. So, yeah, Chalice is able to commit and do as you say, what seems to be the plan with PSG.LGD's draft. Throwing this Ursa into the front, trying to bait out a lot of the team fight spells from VP onto the Ursa. Then you come in with the Haunt and you sweep things back your way.
Yeah, or you pop Haunt at the start and then you let the Ursa identify. He's like, okay, now I see where everybody is. I know where Grimstroke is. I know where Enigma is. I can pick and choose which targets I want to go for to allow my backline to get all their spells off. But VP, they're still just continuing grouping up. They want to put the pressure, get the final tier 2s down before the Spectre Radiance is online.
And we'll see if PSG.LGD want to try and take some sort of a fight around this tier 2. It's unlikely if they're winning on those big items.
Still 500 away, so probably not looking to commit forward for a fight here. Just playing very defensive here.
No one found no one. He's going to zip straight into the high ground. He's going to get gratified. That's going to be no one dead. They've lost Solo as well.
Oh my god.
Oh, VP jumping the gun a little bit there, diving past the tier 2 tower. Ramses, he knows better than that. He's out of there. But Roger's left behind as all. VP, you cannot do those plays in a game where there's this late game Spectre. If you're throwing away 3 heroes like that unnecessarily behind a tier 2, PSG.LGD, they're going to climb back into the game with ease.
He didn't even, I mean, they didn't have to use Haunt. They didn't have to do anything.
Didn't have to be there.
It was just the Rolling Thunder. What, it was Morphling waveforming in, turning into Pugna and getting slept as he turns into it and getting hit by another blast at the same time.
It was a very risky play there for no one. I mean, you sort of got to question how big the payoff would have been anyway if he's able to get up there and get the vision.
They were really just trying to protect their ward so badly there that, I mean, that cost them so heavily now. It's a 4K advantage, but now Spectre's got Radiance finished up. They've got a couple extra items too here coming out online. Bastion finished for Chalice.
Oh yeah.
I mean, game's kind of turned
if you made that play again, you're not losing 3 heroes, you're losing all 5.
Yeah, you're losing everybody. VP has to be very careful. They're probably getting a little bit, like, I wouldn't say like antsy because they still have the troll farming, but that play right there made it seem that they're like, oh, you know, this looming threat of that Spectre is getting into their heads maybe a tiny bit. And
it's a very slow-paced game. We're 21 minutes in, it's 6 for 6. You know, maybe there's some frustration for VP. They're just running at PSG.LGD saying, come on, do something. Because at the moment, PSG.LGD, they've been keeping it very, very quiet. That's their game plan.
And they immediately throw the scan. They know that this Roche is happening right now. LGD, they've got Haunt. This is dying pretty quickly, though.
Very quickly.
And they actually make it in time.
I don't know, unless they pop an early Haunt. Scan's going to be there from VP. They know the PSG.LGD's on the high ground. They're going to pop the Haunt. They'll have vision on the Roche. Can they get in? Chalice is going to jump across towards Solo. They're into the pit. They'll get the Aegis Snatcher. No one's able to get the Aegis, but they did get the touch onto it. There's the Black Hole down. Holding down this Ursa and the Bane. They'll move it with the Silence, the Doom onto the 2 of them with that Grimstroke combo. VP, they'll get the 2 kills to start the fight off, and they're ready to chase for more. Onto the high ground, looking towards the Pugna. The Silence is out. Ramses is on top of him. They'll get the kill on XM as well. So as we saw there, now PSG.LGD, they were able to take the Roshan kill, but the Aegis still went the way of no one. VP still take the fight. VP, they'll be more than happy with that.
Yeah. LGD committed forward a bit far, trying to really go for that play. They're onto the high ground there. VP is just able to isolate this Ursa completely. The rest of LGD was not able to get into the backlines. You know, FY doesn't have a blink dagger or anything on this Pango, so he had to Rolling Thunder and roll in for like 3 seconds before he's actually able to make it into that fight. And even though that Nether Ward too, like they had it in perfect position, but VP, they already had, the Roche was done. Now they've got a good way of initiating themselves now on VP. They've got this Blink Dagger on the Doom, and this is the key item. You know, he's got this drum, he's got this pipe, which are fantastic for his team, but now the Blink with the Grimstroke is the key, because now you're going to see those double Dooms consistent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that point, you know, if you're PSG.LGD, how do you even fight around so that double Doom threat? Is it... You have to be careful, like sort of going in 1 by 1 rather than 2 by 2, or you're only going when there's the haunt, so there's this sort of chaos, which makes it, I say, a little hard. It's still probably going to land on 2 heroes, though, if you're all moving in like that. And they don't have those instant stuns, as we said. There's not a lot of lockdown. They can just say, okay, we're going to take the Doom out of the fight, or the Grimstroke out. They're going to get their spells off.
Yeah, they could maybe try to burst with like a haunt, and then the Pugna, I think, has like a Blink and a Dagon. So I think maybe if you get the vision with the haunt, and then you can choose to find that Grimstroke, but have to be careful. Yeah, so 9 to 7, only 5K, swinging between 5K and 6K.
XM trying to scale up those Dagons. They need that burst potential. It's very hard at the moment to take drawn-out fights against 3P. We'll get a little easier with FY having the mech done.
Okay.
So that bit of burst heal and save, and one way to help those that do get doomed.
I mean, they do need some type of way to counteract the sustain that VP has, right? They have the pipe, they have the mech, so inside of those fights, they have quite a bit more than LGD at the moment.
I mean, you just look at this Doom and the amount of health regen that Pasha's sitting on when he's devouring. 55 HP. And with the pipe, it just seems unkillable. You can't do anything about the Doom. You can definitely do something about the Grimstroke. But the likeliness is that Pasha, he's going to doom someone at the end of the day in these fights.
I always like the Dagon build as well in Pugna when you're playing versus Morphlings. You know, Morph sits low, you just get these pickoffs, so no one does have to be a little bit careful of that as LGD. They're set up to try to defend this tower. They have the vision on the high ground too.
They're going to jump them once. They don't get any procs with the lucky shot. No one is fine, and does have backup behind him, and still has that Aegis, of course.
They've got the ward on that right side there, so they do see where Pasha is on the Doom right now. They're committing forward. They see him.
They'll get on top of the Doom, and in fact, with him solo, they're actually going to have enough damage to take him down with the Desolate damage that rips through him. They get 3 pixels straight away. This is the Horde fight. Getting the 3 kills. No one tries for the TP out. There won't be any sort of bash, so he is able to get away, but still... This is the scary stuff for VP. Arme's online. They're taking these team fights. Haunt comes in, and PSG.LGD come out on top.
You know, we talk a lot about, you know, wards winning games, or wards like winning side of team fights in particular. We see that ward on that cliff there. It spots the Doom. They recognize the target they need to go for. It's getting pinged immediately. You see VP. Pasha's like, yeah, there's a ward there. We know now.
And as we saw, you know, sort of regardless of how tanky we were saying this Doom was in terms of HP regen, if you're able to do the damage as fast as they did, HP regen doesn't matter. He's going to be dead before he's able to really reap any sort of benefit from that HP over time. There's no one next up after Manta getting that Lincoln Sphere. I mean that he's got to be careful with these Dagon sort of plays. Just look how quickly he dies here.
Yeah, just... focused out by everybody. He's getting hit by Desolate, he's getting hit by an enraged Ursa, he's getting hit by the full Rolling Thunder, and they're just lucky to not have gotten... If no one gets bashed there, this whole game might just completely turned around there.
A couple of hits, but a couple of hits too few, unfortunately, for Chalice. Didn't get that bash off.
Ramsey's looking at FY. FY actually does a short swashbuckle. They're actually chasing forward to commit for him here, and he is looking to be in a lot of trouble.
Does have the Rolling Thunder as well. He'll get it off, but the physical damage is enough. Ramsey's able to get the axes in, get the kill.
A little bit of that first swashbuckle, just, he did it like pretty much melee range. Ramsey's recognized it and goes for the dive, and now they're looking to go high ground. They have a BKB troll, 10
they know
seconds.
There's no Haunt.
How long on that Aegis? They have only 9 seconds left on it, but they want to try to threaten at least a little bit here on that timing that they have.
And we're going to the tier 3 tower.
Chalice is just in.
He's trying to commit for Solo. Solo, is he going to go do that anymore with Roger? He has the black hole response, holding Chalice in place. Chalice is going to die for that attempt. FY's brought back. V-script for the high grounds there from X-Nova, but instant doom in response. X-Nova's going to tick out. FY brought back for this. Tries to jump in. This is 2 buybacks that PSG.LGD have committed for this fight. Will they actually be able to find any kills off the back of it on top of Solo? They've got the dagger out to Ramses. Going forward with the swashbuckle. Decrepify's down to no one, but again, it means Chalice cannot hit the Morphling. So no one's able to wait for it to the high ground. Pasha jumps in. Adaptive strike down as well as the Infernal Blade there follows up onto Chalice. FY's going to fall. He gets rooted up, bursted down. Ramses, he's still got the BKB good to pop. He's ready to commit for Arme. Arme's still got that free pathing, gets down into the trees. As they'll continue to chase, can they get more from this? They're looking for Ramsey, but Ramses, he has the ult. He's going to start turning, beating into Arme, gets the root off. The bash is there. Decrepify used as well to make sure that Arme cannot be hit. XM and Chalice able to keep Arme alive. And PSG.LGD, they are able to find those big kills off the back of using their buybacks. They chase down, and they get Pasha, they get Roger, and they get that big one. They get Ramses, but it did cost them a little.
Yeah, even though that, like, the Fiend's Grip, Xnovo actually got some pathing happening here. He was trying to cancel that black hole, and he kept going back and forth on the tree lines there. Wasn't able to get it in time, but yeah, these buybacks actually very beneficial for LGD. And XM in the back lines of that fight, since the Ursa, since Chalice just leads the way, Chalice casted 5 Earth Shocks in that fight, 5 Overpowers, but the Pugna got 5 Nether Blasts, 2 Daggons, so many different spells off in the fight. And we did see, the Decrypt that was coming out. That was actually the Morphling. He turned into the Pugna. He decrypted himself. So
smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm sure in every single fight, XM's making that very clear. He's like, I didn't do that.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't me. It was him. As it tripped them up once before.
It's looking, very scary now, though, for VP. This is a huge turnaround, and Ame, he is not dying in these fights. 2-0 and 7, and this distraction that's being caused by the Ursa, it's really paying off for them. They're able to get all their spells off, and this Spectre, he's getting away with murder inside of the fights. Nearing another item already here is, not nearing, but he's picked up his leases at Ring of Taris to build toward that heart. If he gets heart, the Midnight Pulse and the Infernal Blade at least are percent-based damages, which will be nice versus that, but this Spectre is gonna run rampant, because we see how much they're focusing the attention on the Grimstroke. Chalice just, he sees Solo, and he's just like, that's all I need to do. Kill this Grimstroke, and then they're not gonna get these double dooms off that can be problems. And now the BKB comes out, so now he's even safer. Chalice, he can just commit fully into that backlines. He just has to worry about either Doom or Black Hole, but then he's doing his job. He's making sure that he tanks the spells. So Chalice with a very good recovery as bottom lane. He did okay, but he wasn't putting the pressure on. This is, very good display by this Ursa.
Oh, he's now on level and just ahead of Pasha's Doom.
Yeah.
And here we have PSG.LGD ready to smoke up. They have Ame pushing bottom, and yeah, he's more than ready to join them with the ult.
Yeah.
So if they find any big catch, they'll commit immediately. They have the ward down. We'll show the movement of Pasha and Ramses, so they'll know that a few of them are top. They will know it's very likely that the entire team is there, though, with those two being together. So they have to be careful how they approach this.
It is good.
We'll see if they can catch them out. As Ramsey, he's going to show in lane. As already the rest of PSG.LGD are packed up. They'll get the Fiend's Grip here from the shadows. And that is Ramsey's dead and gone for 80 seconds. Pushing on like that on his own, and now also Alme able to force no one to back up as well. They've got to be careful when they go out like that. As VP, it seemed like they were going to be okay at the start of that smoke from PSG.LGD because they were all up there, but then everyone backed up and Ramsey stuck around.
Yeah, they're getting outmaneuvered at the moment now from LGD. They're able to, with that one ward that they did have, they made so much happen out of it, and now 55 seconds no troll.
This is the power of the Ursa.
And now it's going to be a Spectre who is encroaching upon that heart, and he's going to have an Aegis and a Cheese maybe potentially. Could maybe even just give both to him if he wants to commit for it. They might give Chalice one of them because if he's just playing that like sacrifice to jump in and start the fights. This game is now pretty confirmed for LGD, like the control that they have in the game.
It's certainly looking scary as this game goes on. It's getting to the point where VP, they have to land these combos. They've got to get these double dooms off. They've got to get these black holes off onto multiple heroes. Otherwise, PSG.LGD, they're just going to come out on top of every single fight with the sustain and with how big this Arme Spectre is.
Yeah. It became such a scary game for Solo, because every time it seems like they're taking a fight, just like, oh, Haunt's back up. They just pop a Haunt and Solo is isolated, and he's just like, oh my god, I can't actually get my spells off with this Ursa and this Spectre in my face.
Pasha, very close to having that halberd, and that could be what sort of keeps Solo alive, is if he's able to react to the jump in from Chalice and get that disarm off.
But he has the BKB.
He is. He's got to be. Well, he's going to be BKBing every time before he blinks in.
Yeah, more than likely.
Like, surely. And if he doesn't, that's going to be a huge mistake.
And we were talking about how the Doom, the Blink Dagger, is this excellent item when you're playing with Grimstroke to get the jumps off, but you're playing versus Haunt, and you're playing versus Radiance. It makes it, makes your job way more difficult for Pasha to be able to get these type of setups that he wants for his team. Yeah, they're just finish up the heart, get your Spectral back online. VP, they're under the gun here to make moves. Can't wait for this Haunt.
They're smoking up, but Ramses, he's still 2,200 towards the Reaver. He hasn't quite got the Reaver or the completed Satanic, so they're fighting without Ramses being still that item step ahead that he'd ideally be against this lineup of PSG.LGD at this point, especially if they want to have any sort of chance of bringing down the Spectre and living long enough against him. As Arme, he has that full heart.
4,000 health now on this Spectre on Edgy Treads. I don't see how they... I mean, if they can isolate him, like we said, with the percent-based damages from Doom and from the Enigma, maybe, but he's going to be dealing so much damage back out in the fight just from dispersion now at this rate. Yeah, this is looking very problematic for VP as they're kind of have to disengage already. Ame shows his face. Dagger almost clips Roger.
Oh, Chalice.
The bash.
He's on top of him. Straight and he goes. Dagon Blast as well, bringing Roger down low. The Dagger will be out there. They're popping the horn. They'll get the Enigma kill. They're ready to try and chase for more. Zame, he's got his eyes on no one. No one pretty far away, though. They can't... Can they catch this morphing? They're throwing another dagger out towards him. TPs are coming in. XM, he's going to find Solo on the side. Solo's gone. They haven't got that Grimstroke available. The Soulbind has been used. Back towards the top lane. They get the Doom down onto Chalice. Chalice will die. So VP able to find some sort of a trade. No one's moving in, but the Rolling Thunder from FY is going to hold him in place. He has got the Shrine healing him up. No one. Dips forward with a waveform again, but XM's able to blink away. Arme's still sitting at pretty much full HP here as this Spectre just cannot be harmed at the moment by VP. They'll turn. They've got the silence onto no one. No one's going to be careful. Decrepify is getting bursted down low. The silence still prevails as he will surely fall. Can he get out? He cannot. No one falls. Ramses does get the root down onto FY, but FY's fine, blocked in the trees. They cannot finish the kill onto the Pango. FY swashbuckles out. There's a buyback for no one. He needs to find some kills here. Will turn into the Spectre. Has the lockdown onto XM with the dagger. They're charging forward, but with the self decrepify, XM could walk off to safety.
They can't touch Ame. He's just full HP throughout the entire fight. They're trying to ignore him going for other targets, but it's a problem. This Radiance does start ticking you down and burning quite a lot, as we see. Look at how much damage he did in the fight. 9,400.
And I think what really sort of screwed no one over there was after he'd used the Manta and such, it was that play he talks about in the draft coming in, the Enfeeble and the silence for the lucky shot. He was silenced forever.
Yeah, it looked like it was, what, like 8 seconds or something at least that he gets silenced by it there. That was, yeah.
We'll see what no one gets next, but he may even have to think of getting the BKB as well as the Manta.
Yeah, he's queued it up.
Yeah.
He absolutely needs it. They're just not able to get the targets they want. Sure, they got the Doom on Chalice, which they get the kill, but then, yeah, there's just these bigger problems. The Spectre is just out of control. Sam.
BP. On the Netherward, XM, X-Nova, and FY at the side. FY is going to go in with the Rolling Thunder, start to bounce Ramsey around here. Soulbind will be there, the horns out, the VP have to be careful. No one's brought back for this. Chalice commits with the BKB, gets himself on top of Roger. Roger, he'll try and back away, but again, this silence just lasting forever. This Enigma is dead for 50 seconds. Roger has no buyback. Solo will go for the TP out. Will he manage to get away? What? The bash, the zap from the Dagon comes in. 2 dead on VP as PSG.LGD, they've got the grip. Holding him, Ramsey's pass is trying to get to X-Nova to cancel the grip. Will allow Ramsey to get the BKB. The battle tries off as well. He's trying to turn, gets the ruler onto Chalice. Ramsey, can he get any of this kill? So Ame is just tanking it all as this Spectre on the front lines. No one. He's trying to commit for everyone, but no one gets zapped out by the magical combo. No one's dead without buyback. The silence onto Passion, the disarm as well. This Doom cannot escape. And PSG.LGD, they're chasing both of them. XM's got the lockdown onto Ramses. Another silence comes into play from that lucky shot. Pasha's dead and gone. Only Ramses was able to get away from this. But now the lead starting to be there for PSG.LGD. They're coming out on top. The slow-paced gameplay just... What do you know? It's benefiting this Spectre lineup as they have no answers for Ame now.
They just can't deal damage to him at all. He just literally is walking around inside the fights dealing just constant Radiance damage. There's so many other distractions they have to deal with, and this Pango constantly seems to get the right lucky shot procs over and over again. They just can't get their spells off on VP. This Haunt comes out in full panic. I actually thought they might just call GG there when no one died, since he doesn't have buyback, but they're trying to hold on for it here, probably just because they still have the combos that can come out. But
and they still have the black hole.
Yeah.
But it's so hard for Roger to get off, as he just dies too quickly. Doesn't really necessarily matter about cancelling it, and Roger.
There he goes again.
He has got buyback now, though, on the Enigma. Bash is going to be back in the game, still that 30-second window without no one's morphling. There's PSG.LGD laying down the blast. Buyback comes out now from the Enigma. This tier 3 tower going down in the middle lane. Back to protection, kicks in momentarily, but the creeps are ready to charge in and look for more. The tier 3's gone. The creeps here, allowing PSG.LGD to keep this push going if they want to. Looks like they'll play it a little safe from reserve. They'll back off. They'll start to deal with the side lanes. The side lane is very much pressured onto their half of the map, so before going to the high ground, they know that they can relax LGD. They'll play it safe. They'll just make sure that all 3 lanes are pushed in, and then they'll go again. They know they've got the edge.
Yep, all 3 lanes pushed in. You force the buyback. Shrines are available now for you, so, yep. They're not in a rush at all anymore. The only thing that could happen is them getting caught by some, like, ridiculous combo, like some black hole that hits everybody. The Doom gets the double Doom on everybody, too. It's, yeah, very difficult.
Pick up the gem here for Pasha, try and get some of this map control back, make sure that at least for VP, their half of the map is safe. And PSG.LGD getting any vision down and being able to make the invasions.
It's just feeling though like what item is going to bring this back for VP? What play is going to bring it back? And it's pretty much just them getting those, just getting the combos off. I don't think any item is really going to help them here, but they're versus the Spectre, who always is going to have, the Haunt is always available when they're taking these fights. And yeah, 4,100 HP, takes the Dispersion talent as well, so yeah. Real rough here is VP. They're trying to farm up at least the BKB unknown so he can have a little bit more liberty inside of the fights, but so hard for him to focus fire anybody.
The Basher on Troll, so at least a little more control from Ramses and chance that he's able to kill off someone when he pops that battle trance. But still, the damage just doesn't come fast enough from these heroes on VP. Of course, having to be forced to build very defensively.
Rest in peace, Solo.
FY. Needs him with the Thunder, and then Feeble Solo's just stunned forever. As a zaps there from XM. The godlike Pugna continuing his reign on the game.
Ramses is still top net worth. You know, he's got this Basher now finished up too, but yeah, him being able to focus targets is just so damn difficult when he's playing versus the Bane, when he's playing versus the Pugna, just even versus the Disarm. There's just so many different ways for them to play around and control him and kite him.
And we see, you know, this sort of swing. It wasn't the greatest of leads that VP had, but it was a very early one and a very definite one. They were getting away with these early timings on the Troll. They weren't able to transition into anything bigger than sort of taking a few tier 2 towers. Top lane, no one caught out by the jump. Bashes are there for Chalice. Easy setup for Xnova to follow up with a Fiend's Grip. And that is no one dead for 70. Still no buyback back up for this Morphling.
When you're playing versus a Spectre, it's like the biggest thing is making mistakes is, you know, your absolute kryptonite. You cannot make mistakes when you're playing versus Spectre. VP made that dive.
I was going to say,
it really hurt them so much in this game. It was like the back-to-back, that bottom tower, right? They really wanted it.
They're popping the Horde, they're trying to get in, and he's trying to get the doom off Pasha. He's going to do it on illusion there, but Black Hole just gets cancelled immediately as Roger just melts in the front lines of the fight. The Yule's Rolling Thunder combo used to hold the two of them in place. Pasha falling low. Ramses trying to get back to base. That's Pasha dead without buyback. Solo will buy back into the game. Ramses is trying to turn, but the Decrep fight to Salving. GG well played is called as PSG.LGD take game 1 of this best of 3. VP. They had the lead at the start. It was a slow-paced game. The Spectre comes out on top, and VP's certainly going to be looking back at certain points of that game and saying we should have held back.
Yeah, it's just like maybe we put a little bit too much attention on that bottom tier 2, because that's where both plays ended up happening, right? They get the ward set up, and then that waveform forward from no one. He turns into the Pugna, gets bursted. Second time around, they're looking to push it again. They were not prepared because that ward that was on the high ground, Pasha gets killed when he's at his strongest. He had the blink, he had the pipe, but they just got initiated on, and it seemed like when VP was dictating the pace, they were doing great. But then as soon as the game started slowing down too much, and LGD were able to have Haunt every single time for the fights, they were just able to take them convincingly.
And would you say, is this another argument against the Troll and his Battle Fury? He hit it at such a fast time this game, Ramses, but was there any real impact from this Troll sort of 30 minutes onwards? It didn't feel like it was there. He could, even though he was at the top of the farm, he just didn't do enough against this lineup at all.
It seemed very difficult. It also was like the nature of the draft too, like we mentioned. There's so many different ways to kite him out. Decreps, Bane sleeps. Yeah, there was just lucky shot being thrown into play that we saw several times, and yeah, that was it was pretty well done there by LGD. I would say that I don't think that they're too upset with the way that went because they have a Spectre. There's no way you're expecting to be able to lead with a Spectre in the game. Like if you're leading in the beginning of the game with a Spectre, you're like, oh, we got this game super easy. So yeah. I think they're okay with the way the game went.
Yeah, PSG.LGD, yeah, they just knew exactly how to play, exactly what pace to do, and it paid off there. They weren't ahead at the start, but it didn't matter for them. That was part of the plan all along, as it turned out. As PSG.LGD take this game 1, we'll see if VP can switch it around and bring something new to take down LGD in game 2 very shortly after the break. We'll see you soon.